Hi everyone, my name is Marilyn Quintana. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. Today I'm going to share 5 secrets for you to avoid a visa refusal to Canada. But before we start, please subscribe to our channel, click on the little bell right below to get notifications of new videos, and feel free to leave us a comment. So the first secret that I want to share with you is about intention. You have to remember that a visa is intended for people that has a day to come and a day to return to their home country, and you must make sure that you are stating that your intention is temporary. And this brings me to the second secret, which is about purpose. You have always to mention exactly what you're going to do here. What are the gains that you're going to have if you do that here, for example, studying here instead of studying your home country. And you always have to demonstrate why this is going to be helpful, why this is going to be helpful or bringing you advancement in your career, in your profession, in your education when you go back home, right? So when you talk about intention and you talk about purpose, they go together, and you have to make sure that you address that very correctly on your letter of intention that you must add to your application. It is an optional document, but I truly recommend always having a letter of intention with your application. The third secret, it is ties to your home country. So once you are saying that you have the intention to come and the intention to come back, you have always to emphasize what will make you to come back. It is a career advancement that you are aiming to receive once you go back. It is advancing your business. It is opening a business. You have to go back because you already have a business that you continue to be there while you come here to study. It is because your fiancé, your husband is, or your wife, for example, is going to be there waiting for you, or they're coming all together, right? You have to take care of the family business, you have to take care of your parents. So you always have to describe what are the reasons for you to come, so purpose, and the reasons for you to come back. You always have to show ties to your home country. For example, if you are single, if you are unemployed, it is very difficult to prove that you have a reason to come back, right? And also ties, it is mostly related to your career than to your personal matters. The personal matters are important to be addressed, if any, but always address career ties to your home country in your visa application. How that is going to help you to go back to where you are or to advance your career from where you were, okay? So all these 3 first secrets that we mentioned, it is addressed in the letter of intention. Some people choose to write in their own language. I always recommend writing in English, okay? I know that not everybody has a good English skills when they are coming to study, but it is very important to make it clear, right? And for you to make sure that the officer will understand, it is very important to make it in English, okay? The fourth secret, it is about the proof of funds. If you already did that research on the government website, when it comes to funds, it only says that you need to prove to pay for the costs of your education for the first year, plus $10,000 if you are single, $14,000 if you are coming with your spouse, right? And $3,000 on top of that for every children that's accompanying you. For example, a couple with 1 children would be $17,000. A couple with 2 children, it is going to be $20,000. So let's say that a program of studies in Canada costs $15,000 a year, and you're coming to study for 2 years. And you are coming with your spouse and your 2 children, for example, and you have exactly the $35,000 that the government recommends as minimum requirement for you to apply. Think about it. Even though you have the minimum amount required by the government to come and study here, that's far from the amount of money that you actually need to maintain your family here without the need of working here to pay for the studies and to maintain your family well. I know that it's the government that sets the minimum requirement, but they only approve your case according to their own knowledge of what's necessary for you to maintain your studies, to maintain your family while you are here in Canada, right? So we do recommend that you have at least 30 to 50% on top of the minimum funds requirements for you to have a higher chance of getting a visa approval. If you consider, for example, the real costs of maintaining a family here of 4 people for the entire year, I would say you need at least $3,500 to $4,000 a month to maintain your family, which means that the minimum would be $40,000 to maintain a family of 4 people throughout 1 year, plus the cost of the studies, right? So don't guide yourself through the minimum requirement. Always make sure that you have above the minimum requirement, and always make sure that you consider your personal situation. The more your family requires, the safer your application should be. So you have to demonstrate more money on your proof of financial means that you are going to attach to your application in order to be successful visa application. And you also have to consider if your country is more likely to have approval or more likely to have a refusal. We do have access to a database that shows for the past 5 years how the government is performing for every country. That's an information for us to use to calculate the risk for every country, but you also can guess by knowing the relationship with your country and Canada. Another thing that's very important regarding proof of funds, it is to demonstrate how you acquire that money. The government knows that if you don't demonstrate that you have a stable life, that you have a good job, that you were able to accumulate that funds by your work, for example, or because your family has the supporting means, doesn't make sense for you to have a lot of money in your account, right? The history of funds is also very, very important for your proof of funds documents that go with your visa. So make sure to demonstrate in your application that your funds has also a history that's possible for the government to understand how you accumulate these funds, okay? And the last secret that I'm going to talk about, it is travel and immigration history, okay? If you never left your country, it is very likely that you have a visa refusal. So make sure to include all the information about your previous travels, and if you have had any problem with any other country, for example, if you stayed illegal in US, if you overstayed in Australia, if you went to somewhere and it worked legally, be very careful because you must declare that information, and unfortunately the risks of you being refused increases when you had a problem in any other country. So make sure to be very honest in your application. Lying is the worst thing you can do, and if you have a situation like that that will decrease your chances of getting a visa approval, it is very important for you to plan a good strategy so you can overcome these risks, okay? It seems very simple. The government has a lot of information available on the website, but a visa application can be tricky. It can cost you the opportunity of coming to Canada. So even though I'm here telling you a lot of tips for you to how to improve your application, how to avoid refusal, it is also highly recommended to hire a professional to support you. And remember, in a lot of countries around the world, there are a lot of people that apply for visa. They are not professionals. They are not authorized to do so. They do that as illegal work because you must have an immigration license that you obtain in Canada in order to do any kind of application for the Canadian government, okay? So don't trust a person that just sells visa in your home country only if that person has the proper license to apply for you. That were all the 5 tips that I prepared for you guys today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please give your thumbs up, leave your comment right below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can keep an eye on the next videos. Thanks for watching.